Hello there. We're glad to have you join us again on Dateline Lagos. Welcome back from the holidays. I'm your host, Loretta Chiogo. Now, work and businesses resume after the Muslim holidays of Eid al-Kabir. Lagos State Governor Mr. Akinwumi Ambode clarifies the application of 500 billion naira bond approved by the State House of Assembly. Also, Governor Ambode holds talks with German firm as the state government partners with North Group to train architects, civil engineers and craftsmen. Lagos residents continue to experience heavy rains as flood kills one in a slum in Ikeja. Also, we have a special focus on the Muslim festival as Muslims in Lagos join their counterparts across the world to celebrate the biggest festival. Let's begin with the developmental issues. The move by the Lagos state government to go into a debt investment has been spelled out by the state governor, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode. The governor, who spoke in reaction to some alleged misrepresentation in media reports, said the need for a 500 billion naira bond is to complete some mega infrastructural projects in the state. Take a look.
Lagos State Governor Mr. Akinwumi Ambode has clarified the 500 billion naira bond program approved by the State House of Assembly, saying that the bond was a pool fund that would span over a period of time and not just for the current appropriation year. While explaining the modalities of the bond program, Governor Ambode says the state can only access 60 billion out of the 500 billion naira for the current appropriation year, which will be used to accelerate ongoing projects towards infrastructure development in the state. Governor Ambode commended members of the Lagos State House of Assembly for their forthrightness and understanding of the vision and programs of his administration.
The state government must have a program for it. So it's in that program that is more or less year span that you now draw whatever little amount that is approved by the House of Assembly on a year-to-year basis through appropriation or through the budget. What is inside the appropriation law for 2016 is just 60 billion naira. So it's from this program that you are pulling out that 60 billion. So for next year's budget, if the House of Assembly approves, let's say for example now, 80 billion naira as bond, you don't need to go back to the House of Assembly again after they have approved that budget. You draw from that shelf, that issuance program, and take another amount which is approved for 2017 budget. If they approve any amount for 2018 budget, you take from that pool of 500. So the 500 can take the next 5 to 10 years. So it's just a lump sum in which you now draw down based on authorization by the House of Assembly. That's in a technical explanation of what has been done. It's not as if the state wants to go and take 500 billion naira. It's just a requirement by SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, so that you follow the procedure on a year-to-year basis. So this year alone, what we are looking for is just 60 billion. And the 60 billion is very clear to continue the aggressive infrastructural development that we're doing in Lagos. And we're saying also that those bonds that we're taking are easily repayable from the internally generated revenue. So all you are just doing is to accelerate development for the future of the prosperity of Lagos for tomorrow.
A German firm, North Group, is looking at creating over 15,000 jobs if only the state government could provide a land space for the establishment of a training center in Lagos where architects, civil engineers and craftsmen will be trained on modern trends and technologies in building and construction.
The meeting between the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, and the delegation from the German firm, the North Group, falls in line with the governor's commitment to attract as much foreign investors as possible into the state. The delegation was led by a member of the management committee of the firm, Isabel North, and the Consular General of German Embassy in Nigeria, Mr. Ingo Herbert.
We just discussed even in difficult places around the world and in many also emerging countries. They have made progress in their project to invest, to open here a production site. And let me say just in general, the positive thing is I always say German investments normally, when they come, maybe it takes some time, but they stay, and they stay longer, and they always invest not only in the production, but also what you call nowadays CSR, or they do a lot of things around, and especially training and for the people working for them.
The North Group is one of the world's leading manufacturers of building materials and construction equipment, and is currently establishing a $75 million manufacturing factory in Lagos. The team was at the Lagos House to brief the governor on the progress made so far and to seek support from the state government for the establishment of a training center in the state.
We have another project, which is a training center. In my region, I operate 23 training centers, and I'm training about 14,000 people a year. And I would like to build the same type of training center in Lagos. And these training centers are geared to train, on the one hand, the architects and civil engineers in the use of drywall, in the use in acoustics and in fire protection, and on the other hand, actually train craftsmen on how to physically and technically install these new products. We would be very grateful for the support. Either in many countries, the government, local government gives the land and we pay for everything else. If that would be possible, that would be really great. Otherwise, of course, we would be always thankful for help with permitting issues.
Excited by what the state stands to benefit from the investment, Governor Ambode expressly approved the request for land.
You like to set up a training center here in which, beyond the fact that the factory that we're trying to set up, we also need to build capacity with our architects, engineers, and even artisans so that they'll be able to apply effectively these products in the market. And you're not just doing it with our own money. All you want from us is just the land. I want to tell you today, we donate instantly the land space for this training center. And also want to say a big thank you to the German embassy for actually also being involved in this setting up of the training center. We know that this partnership, like has been said, is a long drawn partnership, because anybody that comes to invest when there's a recession is actually thinking more about the future and more about prosperity. And we believe that every other part that will make your business very comfortable, I give you my commitment that we'll do this in conjunction with all the other government officials. We're talking about plaster walls, and we're talking about products that are totally not being activated in Nigeria, and you've decided to come and activate them using your own technology, using your own financial resources. And we want to say that it's just the likes of German investors that we would like to actually invite to Lagos for believing in the Lagos economy and also believing in the future of Nigeria. We say a very big thank you to you. And other investors will have to just emulate what you have done to show that you are not thinking about now, you're actually thinking about the future.
Governor Ambode says his administration has remained focused to the promise of facilitating a friendly environment for investment to thrive.
We did also say that we're going to make Lagos investment friendly. And whatever it is that you needed to be able to invest in Lagos, we did promise also that we'll make that available to you. You've only come back to show something to Nigerians, that beyond the economic recession that Nigeria is experiencing, your total belief and the total belief of the German government in the economics of Nigeria is unshaken. And we want to just appreciate this. It's not enough for any investor to come into an area that they've never really had any business in, and months after the parameters for investment are not really looking good. But you've stuck in there, and beyond the fact that you've actually gone to procure land, you have an established
office already within the last 11 months, and you're already pumping more money into what you want to do.
Governor Ambode says the North Group deserves to be commended for not just investing in Nigeria, but also bringing the German vocational expertise on an area of construction into Lagos. The North Group hopes to create 25,000 direct employment with its factory. The training center will cost about €2 million to establish, while at least 800 Nigerians will be trained annually in the first phase.